Welcome to Vegas Circle with Paki and Chris, and today joining the circle with us at Patake Exchange, we have got firefighter, and what I love what he calls himself is a purpose entrepreneur and founder of Give Tribe. We've been excited for this interview, Nino Galloway. So welcome to the circle, man.
Thank you.
So man,
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man, we've been hearing about you for our friends Angel and Letitia. From Live to Give, just great friends of ours. And they told us about you last year. And I said, we got to get him on the show. Just unbelievable what you're doing in Vegas and impacting the city, just in general.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to shake things up. And if you're truly going to leverage what you're good at, it's no good if you keep it to yourself. And at the same time, it challenges you to get better.
Yeah. Are you originally from Vegas?
I am not. I was born and spent most of my youth in New York, Long Island, New York.
Okay. Oh, East Coast guy. Okay.
East Coast. I spent a couple years in Orlando, Florida, but graduated high school out of Long Island, New York, Center Riches.
Okay.
What brings you to Vegas?
The fire department job. My parents had moved out here, and they were like, hey, I wanted to be a New York City firefighter, but I missed the age minimum requirement. And my mom's like, all right, you missed it. Get your butt out here. It worked out. I'm in my 27th year of being a firefighter.
You've been 27 years as a
27
firefighter?
in
Vegas?
In Vegas.
Get out of here. Okay, I didn't know you were that long. Okay, that's good stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so you got some stories for days.
I shaved the salt and pepper off.
Man, yeah. Me and you both. Yeah, I'm there. So that's awesome, man. So 27 years. Now you are in Vegas or North Las Vegas, I saw? Or
I'm in
North both?
Yeah, I'm in North Las Vegas. I spent my first 26 years as a firefighter off Cary Boulevard most of the time.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So you know where the James Boys and Girls Club is? I'm right over there. I did a small stint at the station at MOK in Cheyenne, which is kind of what the trigger was for giving back. Working in those neighborhoods for most of my career, it just weighs on you to see death at the rapid rate, the fires, the shootings, the car accidents, and then seeing people not know that there's a better way. And then through just some great partnerships with firefighters from all over the valley, we've been instigating giving.
Yeah, you guys have been doing awesome, man. I'm glad you brought that up about just the pressures of everything, man. How do you deal with that pressure, man? 27 years, that's a long time, man.
Yeah, it's a pretty big discussion right now in the fire service, or for first responders, period. Military, nurses, EMTs, medics, doctors. It's become a real issue, that depression and everything that goes around PTSD. And I don't think there's any first responders that's safe from it in some way, shape, or form. I've just been fortunate that most of the stuff that I do outside of the job kind of closes that loop and provides an outlet.
I bet, yeah.
And I think that's been super powerful. And it's not studied, but I think that's helped.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You could see it because, the one thing is being in that field a little bit, a lot of people are closed off. To get into that, you have to be able to deal with those pressures. And with the stigma around, like, going to mental health facilities and things like that, it seems like it's hard to find that outlet for people in that industry.
100%. I definitely think in the fire service, ego, the alpha males, right?
Yep.
Too tough. Have it too to do it. We've been fortunate, a lot of the guys and gals I've worked with throughout the years, we made it a very pointed fact that if we ran on something that was tragic, that was, it sounds weird, but above the norm, that we would always sit around and talk about it.
Just to get it out.
Just talk about it. Before you know it, we're back to grab assing again and talking and picking on each other, because that's how our loop works, right?
With Vegas being a 24-hour town, I mean, I can't even imagine 27 years you seeing everything. It's just so much going on with unfortunately the drunk drivers and everything. It's just unbelievable.
It is, but I think a lot of firefighters have to work so hard, and it would be the same for any one of those professions. You work so hard, either through schooling or through the process of getting hired, that by the time you get to where you're actually practicing it, there's an element of wanting to get into it.
Got it.
And so the reason that matters is we can't control what happens before we get there. But the skill set and the mastery of what we do and how effective we are and how efficient we operate as a crew is what mastery is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
So it changes the skill set, right? And then when I'm outside of the firehouse, you have the peak of, hey, you got to work because somebody's dying.
Sure.
And then you can leverage it to, all right, nobody's dying. Yes, this is dreadful, but it's not going to kill us.
Yeah, so I always kind of wonder that, because how do you, the very first time, you run into a situation that is like dire, and you're in a situation where you're like, I've never dealt with this before, and I really don't know how to react. How do you deal with something like that and then go home and act like, see your
life,
son, or deal with life in general, or
there's that's a debated topic again. Yeah. Like I said, like PTSD, I'll come home and talk to my wife about, hey, this happened or that happened, but I don't try to bring the bad stuff home. And I think because I've got some very good crewmates, crew members, that by the time I leave, we've already talked about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Outside of that, there's so many documented cases about firefighters and police officers. The suicide rates are higher than the actual dying in a traffic accident or in a fire right now. So it is a significant issue that probably needs to be addressed. And as a fire service, I know that we're doing our best. But for us, when you shift and you say, hey, we're going to this call and this is the real deal. Like you're going to a house fire and you can see the header of the smoke, or you go to a shooting and, they're telling you to expedite, or a car accident, that the science is working together as a crew. You're not expected to be perfect. Just be a part of the process or the group that makes it better for that person. And I think once you understand that, you get a little bit of grace. I have learned over 27 years that when I screw up, it's quicker now to go, oh, that was me.
Take responsibility.
I was thinking this, but I didn't.
Because somebody can die if
100%,
you,
or you could injure your crew. So I definitely think ownership, and then we pick on each other.
You got to have the humor.
If you've ever been in a sports team
or a locker room,
it's the same thing, but for us, it's the kitchen table.
That's awesome, man. You've done a lot of things, man, as far as foundation. We'll get into Give Tribe also. Can you talk a little bit about the Burn Foundation and how you connected with them?
Yeah, it's funny because I think that's where I learned the charity grind, which is what I call it. The Burn Foundation, we got together in 2003. We organized after a captain from Las Vegas named Nathan Pahacek, or Captain Nate, as everybody knows him, Big Papa.
Okay, Big Papa.
He reaches out and he said, hey, man, I've been given a charity from Clark County, and we're going to make every department have representation, so I want you to be the representation for North Las Vegas. And I was like, okay. And we got together. We didn't know what we were doing. So we're like, and the initial premise was, hey, our crews are running these bad calls, and we want to know how to support people after the call's out.
Got it.
So that's how we started. We just started helping. Hey, this family got burned out, or there's an accident, or I ran on this sick kid. Is there a way to do? And we just started organically raising funds.
Okay.
And so that first year, Nate had said, hey, man, I had tried doing a toy drive in front of a Walmart. Let's do that. I think we can get to a lot of kids. And the first year we helped, I want to say we provided toys for like 800 kids.
Really? Yeah.
And that thing is just through lots of work, right? Like every October, November, December, we're grinding it out.
Slammed.
This year we partnered with 51 government agencies, charities, schools, programs that have kids in their that are in their plans or programs. And I think we got toys to just over 25,000 kids.
Oh, wow. 25,000
kids.
That's a huge jump.
Man, that's impressive. From 800 to 25,000?
Right. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, and the battles on the political side, because we're we have a union.
Yep.
We're union, and we're putting it in front of Walmart, and this person doesn't want it there, and that person doesn't want it there.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
We've gone through those battles. We've had lots of layers, people getting toys here and then picking them up at another place. And so when you go through that frustration, but you're still passionate about it, it makes it there. It makes you a little bit tougher, right? I'm a tough butt, right? So if I can manage to irritate some people too in protection of our mission. Does that make sense?
Yep. No, it does make sense. So,
but that just comes from 16, 17, 18 years of figuring it out, which is it's a key to anything. It's just everything's figure outable if you're standing up.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And I love, man, I was looking at, some of your marketing and things, but where did you come up with the purpose entrepreneur? I love that.
I think probably my weakest passion is probably my entrepreneurism.
Okay.
However, the principles of entrepreneurism has helped us with the charity. The charity grind is a direct reflect of, hey, at the end of the day, you have to sell something.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
You do. And so with the charity, you're selling your mission. Mm-hmm. The Burn Foundation, we have 4 initiatives. Mm-hmm. You're selling that. You're going for no's, right? Mm-hmm. In the sales world, you're like, hey, let's get that, hey, you got to go for the no's and you got to work through the no's to figure it out, right?
Yep.
Well, it's no different in the charity world, except in the charity world, you get slapped in the face harder, figuratively, because you just expect people to agree with your mission, right? Well,
true.
What do you mean you don't want to help kids, right?
Yep.
But you don't know their circumstances, just like basic sales. So if you follow those principles of asking questions, right?
Yep.
Seeding it, right? Figuring out if they're a fast thinker or they need to process stuff for a slow time. You put those things in effect, it just allows you to just work through those no's and grind out more no's.
I love it because you tell the truth, especially with sales. I mean, that's no joke because you're right. Everybody wants to close the door and they're trying to figure out what angle does this guy have, or they're trying to size you up, to see if you're real, which you are. Mm-hmm. What made you start Give Tribe? Was that you mentioned a little bit about the Burn Foundation? Is that what made you start Give Tribe?
Well, those are a couple things. First off, like our firefighters in the Burn Foundation, they just do we had to organize into 4 initiatives.
Okay,
and so our bandwidth is stretched, right?
Yep.
We're all volunteers. We have a couple of contracted staff and interns, right?
Mm-hmm.
But firemen are not business people, right? So our bandwidth is stretched, right? And we have incredible individuals. And so as we got to that, we were just starting to get a little bit challenged because more and more people are going, hey, well, what about this idea? How do you do this? Mm-hmm. And so my wife brought it to me and she's like, hey, we just do discussions. Hey, why don't we just do this as a volunteer group? So Give Tribe, what was that, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? We began just a volunteer page on Facebook.
That's what you got started with.
That's all we started. Hey, let's just be a vehicle for people that are asking us, hey, can you help us with this project? Or, hey, I need some volunteers for this project. That's all started. And then I think my wife had done an event that she wanted to push. It was actually happened across the freeway over here.
Okay.
Brentwood Tavern or Cafe or something like that. And then it just the next thing was hey, let's do a backpack. And it was a backpack drive.
Okay.
And I want to say in the first 9 days, we had collected 12 backpacks of a 2-week backpack. And it was right when the Ice Bucket Challenge was happening. Yep. I'm like, why can't we do that? So what we did was just start a challenge. Hey, I bought some backpacks. I need you to buy backpacks. And then I need you to challenge 3 to 5 of your friends.
There you go.
Boom. And so I think we ended up with, I want to say it was in the last 5 days, we ended up with 160 backpacks.
That's really good.
Doing the challenge.
Campaign, that's pretty wild.
The 5 days capitalized, right? That was the pace of it. And then this year, I think this was our 4th or 5th year doing it. And I want to say it was 860 backpacks.
Oh, wow.
And we bridge. Everything we do is a bridge, meaning we're not here to, hey, now we're going to give it to the kids. We're just antagonizing the giving. And then it goes to charities that are already doing the work. They just need the resource, right? The resource of the backpack, right? So the foundation of Give Tribe is antagonizing people to pay it forward, right?
Love it.
I think it's a key link in life, right? What does Tony Robbins say? The secret to living is giving.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so for us, it's just being that bridge tool to there. And it's turned into little man over here does a stuffed animal in honor of his grandfather.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome.
Tina's dad passed away of heart disease. And so for the last 4 years, he's collected stuffed animals and they give them to the Heart Foundation.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Right. And then this year, I think we, in 2019, we kicked off 2 new programs. The first was a stocking stuffer challenge where we just went to charities and said,
okay,
hey, what's missing?
Yeah, Angel Letitia called us out on that, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, They called us out last year. That was awesome. Yeah.
Right, but it's the challenge effect, right? It's, 6 degrees of separation.
Yep.
Let's get to the 6th degree. Hey, I've done this. I'm challenging you to do it, and then you ask a couple friends, right?
That's
and
great.
it just builds into that. And so that was based on our charity partners through the breakout program, which I'll explain in a second.
Yeah, I wanted to get into that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just going, hey, what are you guys missing? So the kids get food, they get clothes, and they get gifts. And they're like, hey, they just need basic items.
Toothpaste and deodorant.
100%.
And,
I come home and just like talking to her about this. She's like, it's a stocking stuffer. I mean, I was just that dense. I'm like, they're saying they're missing this other stuff. Like, it's this.
But I want to not to cut you off, but when Angel and Letitia was calling Chris and I out, right, we were talking about that, and I went to my wife and I was saying, when I went and brought my kids, it gets them excited. You know what I mean? So 100%. When you did that, as soon as you did that, we've got little kids, and I told them, and they were like, let's go, like let's go do this. And so I love that you guys are doing that, because really what it does is, when you got a little bit of an ego and competition, you want to do it. And we ran out of time, unfortunately, so we couldn't challenge everybody because we were like last minute, unfortunately. But it was awesome to at least be a part of it.
It makes you feel good too.
Yeah,
100%. Well, the goal is just to be a part of. If you do a little bit for everything, and then step into the underlying goal is to identify a passion for that person, not necessarily part of Give Tribe.
Yep.
But find something you're passionate. Some people are going to go to their church and they're like, oh yeah, I'm really passionate about this youth group. And then they're going to put, that T3, time, talent, and treasure, right?
Yep.
If you have something that triggers all 3, then you owe it to yourself to dive in, right? Most people miss it. Well, I should have. No, that's what we're antagonizing.
That's true. Man, that's awesome, man. I love it. I love what you guys are doing. And I'm glad you brought up the breakout Las Vegas. That's what Chris and I were talking about last year. We didn't get a chance to go to it. But you guys had our friend Nick Sansonastasso a couple of times, right?
Santo.
He's awesome, man. That dude is...
He is incredible.
He's literally one of my favorite people that we got a chance to meet and interview. Just his team. I mean, they're just amazing people.
Little secret, they're moving here.
I know, yeah. He told us.
Okay,
no, he told us.
Yes,
he told us, especially with the impact of Vegas and public speaking and motivating. I mean, I knew he's even in Florida now, and he told us he was going to move here.
Okay, good, yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if they shared the story, but Breakout wasn't called Breakout. It was we were just trying to do something 2 years ago, now 3 years ago, all the years in the fire service, and seeing the cycle in the lower income. I call it ghetto. I call it the hood.
No, because
it just is what it is, right?
Yep.
I love working there, but it also takes a toll, right? It's part of that stress, the depression, all that stuff. And so, just to be honest with you, I was complaining. I was like, man, I'm just over people, and I still have my moments now. And I was going through it, and the person I was talking to said, "Wait a second. So you don't like what's going on? You have the network, community, ability, capability." And the wherewithal to do something about it, and you're choosing not to.
Oh, wow.
Sounds like you're...
Who challenged you? A friend of yours?
Yeah, a friend. And they're like, you're part of the problem. And I was like, oh, snap. I just got called
That's beautiful.
out.
Yeah,
I got checked, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, it just turned into, like, what would be the cool thing?
Got it.
The cool thing to do. And the cool thing at the time was Eric Thomas, E.T.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So I'm like, track down E.T. So we started some conversations, and September of 18, he was coming here. E.T. was speaking at a Thrive convention. A Thrive is a purpose-based entrepreneur type conference that I didn't know about till I get there. All I knew is E.T. was coming here, and his team was like, hey, he's coming. I wanted to tell him about putting him in a room full of kids on the west side that just they need to hear you to be inspired. And about a month after they had said they're going, I went and bought a ticket. And then I watched a guy on YouTube named Ed Milet. You guys know Ed Milet?
Of course, yeah.
Right, so Ed
I watched his
Milet,
podcast. Yeah, Ed's powerful.
Powerful, right?
Yep.
He had Nick on there.
Yeah, I saw the interview.
You saw that, right?
It was awesome.
Right.
I was crying actually when I watched the interview.
It's powerful, right?
It's very powerful.
Right.
Yeah.
Got to watch Ed Milet because his diversity on his podcast is
Eric
huge.
on there too. Yeah, I saw Eric's interview on there too.
So he had Nick on there, and then we were leaving town this was a Friday that I show up to this Thrive event, and I see the schedule, and E.T. speaking on Friday, Nick speaking on Saturday, and Ed Milet speaking on Sunday. I'm like, hey,
what's going on?
I might be delayed. Like, I know we're leaving Monday, but I'll figure it out, but I got to listen to these guys.
Yeah.
And then I go to grab my seat before E.T. I'm trying to figure out how to weasel my way as far up to the front as I can.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for a seat, and here comes Nick, him and Rat Beer.
Yeah, Rat Beer's good
Rat
dude.
Beer.
Yeah. we met Rat Beer, this whole crew. Yeah.
Yeah, so they push up, and I'm like, hey. And we talk for a little bit. I'm like, dude, man, I watched you on Ed. That was awesome. We really need to figure something out. He's like, yeah, talk to him. Talk to Rat Beer. Let's figure it out. And that was September of 18. And so he spoke in March, and then we brought him back again in October. And Breakout turned into, at that point, it was just inspiration, but like, you know, just my wife and Angel and Leticia and Cedric and Anthony and all this core group of going, listen, like our biggest challenge was, okay, get them inspired. Now what? What do they do? And so we figured we came up with 4 principles as a crew. 1, make them aware that there's a bigger life out there than what they currently see, right? 2, understand education. Education isn't like schooling is important, but life skills are just as important, right? And then engagement, right? You can learn it all and take no action, right? How many smart people are not doing what they need to do, right? You have to be engaged. And then our 4th principle is empowerment. It's twofold, right? Empowerment is empowering yourself to be able to hit your own goals, right? But it's not complete until you're helping somebody else get their goals.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's true. Yeah.
So those are some of the principles that we're trying to abide by and fight through, right? Because there's days you don't want to. And so that's how Breakout started. In all honesty, it's a hot mess.
Yeah. In a good way, though.
In a good way, right. But if you understand things that are good, if it comes too easy.
Of course.
You know what I mean? You're like,
wow,
there's no right. Or, right.
But you guys were doing, because Nick was sharing with us, they're coming, they're speaking to the youth, challenging and just impacting them with things that you're doing in obviously Vegas and motivation. And I love that. I think that's great to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys end up having Eric speak too, or is that something?
Not yet.
Okay. Did we speak that?
Yeah, not yet. So
because he does a lot with the kids, man. I know he's transitioning now.
Yeah, he does a ton, and there's just a long list, right? In all honesty, there's 2 things that we need to build up on. 1, we need to recognize programs that are in Southern Nevada that are doing great work.
Okay.
That need more eyeballs and ears.
Driving traffic, yeah, I agree.
100%.
I agree.
So that's one big anchor with Breakout, is we can bring those programs in so that once we inspire these kids, line of sight, have those programs right there. So it's an extension of the conversation of Breakout is before those kids leave, they're fed. There's military, police department, fire department there, Job Connect. We had counselors there. We had educational pieces because we needed that, right? Because the kids need that, right? Don't just inspire them and then send them home, right?
Yeah.
A block away and they're back to their reality, right?
Yeah.
And so, but our underlying anchor too is we need to find powerful women. One of the, I spent years with my mom being the primary person in my household, right? And so, but now we see that, right? And so we need there's great stories. This is a pitch.
Yeah.
If you
we got some people, you said women, we got Stacy, we got a lot of people we've had on that we would definitely need to come and speak to the kids. Yeah.
Right. So we want that because
Shane Jasmine on the Play with Law Firm and everything. She's awesome.
Yeah. So we need to speak to our young women because they're powerful, right? And so, but they're the links, right? The tough part is you walk into neighborhoods and all over certain parts of our city, and you've got 2, 3, 4 generations, and the father figure isn't there.
Yep.
So let's open those doors a little bit more.
Yep.
Because then those matriarchs, and the greatest thing that happened out of Breakout was parents that had to bring their kids, right, to get them there, and then the parents got inspired. The kids liked it, but the parents liked it, right? That was a win.
Of course,
right?
that's huge.
You get them both. They go back the following Sunday and go meet with their pastor, or they go do this.
Yep.
Right, we've won, right? If we get them in there, so 10 years from now, our goal is to have this platform of breakout just templated and give it away. Give it away to any city, any charity. They tweak it to what's good for their neighborhood, but really, we're here to just make it hot, a hot mess, figure it out, and then give it away so we can inspire and run those 4 principles for more people.
And it's the next generation, man. So I love it. I love what you're doing, man, for sure.
100%.
Are you able to share a little bit about 2020? What you got, in what month it'll be this year?
It was originally we were going to shoot for April 6th, but a new thing for me is I'm going to officiate a wedding on the 4th.
Sounds fun.
So I bumped it. I'm kind of waiting we have meetings next week. It's to be determined on springtime.
Sure.
And then we'll do it again in October. We have the idea of doing more smaller pocket, like almost like masterminds.
Oh, yeah.
Like getting into programs to find out a little bit deeper on what kids really want. So that we can get that.
Maybe not embarrass them too when they're in a small setting too. They might open up a little bit more too.
Correct. So that might require just us partnering with more of the local feed because it's a fundraiser.
For sure.
We got to budget it to get guys like Nick in here. We've negotiated well with his speaking fee.
Yeah.
For someone that can speak. I think
China and everywhere he's going. Yeah. Tony Robbins.
To all Tony Robbins events. Yeah. It's incredible to watch what he's done. I'm super proud of him because where he's come from and what he's gone through and what he's doing to leverage that is exactly what we want our kids to understand.
Yeah.
Right. It's all possibility, right? Yeah. And so I don't know if you watched him zipping around in his car the other day.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I saw, I think it was yesterday, I think he posted that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a special guy, man. So transition a little bit to Vegas. What do you like about Vegas? Just in general, you've been here for a while now.
I love it's the biggest little city out there. So we live on the south end of town, but I work north.
Yep.
And it's still not that far.
Yeah, definitely.
It's 30 minutes, It's 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah, big city.
Depending on the time of day, right?
Yeah. Compared to New York, when you live in New York, dealing with all that traffic.
Yeah, I love the 24-hour environment. I get up at 4 in the morning. Yeah. I love going to Starbucks at 4:30 in the morning, and it's open.
Yeah. Everywhere's open.
Yeah. All right. I like that. Cost of living wise, I mean, in comparison to the places that we've looked at, I'm close to retirement, so we've been looking at stuff. And what I found out is, hey, you might get this thing good, but you're going to give up some. Like, so if you move to Florida, you're like, hey, move this area, its cost of living is going to be good, but they got big critters.
Yeah.
Right? Hurricanes, they got a lot of bugs, right?
You got family in Florida, too, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll stay away from mosquitoes.
All nets around. Yeah.
That's right. Texas is the same boat, and California is beautiful, but it's expensive, right?
And traffic.
This is the suburb of California, right?
Yeah.
It is.
So at the end of the day, we tell people, if you see the bright lights of Vegas, it's powered by some amazing people. And so like
love that.
Learn about those people that are powering the city, and you can drive a lot of things, right? And it's spawned to you. You think about Nick, when Nick explained why he was moving here, it was brilliant.
Yeah, it's nonstop. I mean, it's always conventions coming in. I mean, the CES was just last week, and then there's always something going on. It's unbelievable. And then we always ask everybody, what's your favorite restaurant in Vegas?
Oh, man. So my go-to probably every week is Greens and Proteins.
Oh, okay. Greens and Proteins. Yeah.
Greens and Proteins.
Smoothie, yeah.
We probably go there and see Greg, the owner, is generally at the one on Eastern and 215. So sit there and talk.
He's got a few of those, right? He has one in 215 next to LVAC also, right?
Yeah. He's got 5 of them now.
He has 5? Oh, wow.
5 of them, yeah.
Okay.
I like Nora's.
Nora's, okay.
Nora's gets a lot of
Italian food.
The Bootlegger, because that was our first date.
Bootlegger. We've been to Bootlegger before. Oh, that's Ant's place. Yeah, that's right. I've been to Bootlegger. It's been a while since I've been there.
Italian food is my thing, like chicken parmesan.
Yeah.
That's it.
You talking my language. You talk about language. Yeah. I love Italian food. Yeah. We talk for days about that. So we got Doris on the map, Greens and Protein. That's beautiful. You mentioned 10 years. Future for Gift Tribe. I know it's exciting, man, what you guys are doing. We're going to speak to Eric Tabas, go speak for you guys next time, man.
I'm on a mission. Inky Johnson is another one. Inky's
absolutely
incredible.
Awesome. Yeah.
Inky's on that radar. Yep. I mean, you think about it, it's endless as we refine the process.
Yep.
But part of that process is being effective, right? So we want to make sure that we're effective enough to make sure that the donors who are participating see the value, which is the kids getting the results. And so you got to get those people in there that have great stories.
Inky's one of them. I love. I've never met Inky, but I listen to him a lot. So he's an amazing guy.
There's just a long list, man. Like you get all those type of people, and then there's people now. I mean, think about it. Before I became a Nick's 23, gonna be 24 this year. Right, I was a firefighter before that. Like, there's new people with great stories. They're in middle school right now developing. They're going through some hardships. So 10 years from now, like it could have this whole expanded look on it. But the goal is to have our young people go, hey, I want to be a part of that.
Man, I love it, man.
For sure.
We had to bring you back, man, for sure, man. It's awesome. I love seeing what you're doing, and it's beautiful, especially in Vegas and then everything that's happening in Vegas. There's so much more, there's so many layers to it. So we love having people like yourself that are really impacting.
Yeah,
and it's going to be a great future, man. So tell people where they can reach you at. If they wanted to connect with Give Tribe, where can they reach Give Tribe at?
We're super simple. We're big on Instagram and Facebook. So for Give Tribe, it's at Give Tribe on both platforms.
Okay.
The Firefighters of Southern Nevada Burn Foundation is same thing, Instagram.
Awesome.
And Facebook. Those are our primaries.
Perfect.
I used to love to dance. But I look stupid at the moment.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
So TikTok's not my thing, but Gary Vee says you got to get on TikTok.
TikTok is ridiculous. Between TikTok and LinkedIn, and you got to do your little 10-second. This is who you need to get on, or he's probably already on there.
He's on TikTok.
I was going to say, he's smart. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
I'm on LinkedIn. I live in the space of. I'm probably on it. My career in the fire service right now is outreach and communication. So that's my job at the moment.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, it's great hanging out with us, man. Thanks for joining the circle with us at Paki
and
Exchange, man. Always, man. So we'll bring you back, and you can check us out at vegascircle.com. So thanks, Nino.
I love it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, bud.